It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the two owners of Between the Zone, a sports podcast. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can y'all talk about how y'all got started with y'all's sports podcast?
So really the first thing that got us started was we had a project because we're sports media students, and we had a project that required us to do a podcast. And me and him are big sports fans, and we just thought of combining our love for media and sports into making a podcast. You don't talk about it.
Yeah. So we had a project in our class, and we just thought it would be cool because we both really wish to pursue this as a career further on, and we thought it'd be cool to get started now. So we did our first episode of our podcast, and we were hooked since then.
That's amazing. What inspired y'all to create a podcast?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is just my love for sports, and I love seeing people talk about sports, and I just love sports in general. And it's just fun to be able to sit down and talk sports with my friends.
Yeah. So a lot of people grow out of sports, and I just felt that it wasn't time for me, and it definitely wasn't time for Will. And this is a way for us to still stick with it and have a good time and follow something we love and also have a good time.
Can you talk about the meaning behind the podcast name Between the Zones?
So the meaning between the zones is mainly getting to know athletes from different manners, just getting a backwards aspect in a sense, just behind the lives. Like, we want to take it farther than just sports in general. It's like we want to know them on a personal level.
Yeah. So you get all these interviews, and you can go anywhere. You can pull up ESPN, and you can find an interview of an athlete after the game, and you can find everything like that. But you don't get to hear about a player really outside of the game or between the zones, between their home life and their sports life, because these are people too. They're not just athletes. So we wanted to get to that.
That's amazing how y'all came up with the name. What are some of your segments that you have on Between the Zones?
Well, we interview people. That's a segment we have, and then we have a What's New segment where we just kind of talk about sports in general, what's going on, what's trending at the moment. We like to do fantasy football stuff too, as well as just cover anything that's trending.
Yeah, I think Will got most of it covered there. So we do have a segment where we keep up with just the weekly sports and just what's going on, and we also just have a segment where we interview people, and that's what our real passion is, and we just really want to get into that.
What sports do y'all cover in y'all's podcasts?
Well, we mainly try to focus on the sports that take place now is basketball and football, but we really just cover any sports in general.
Who are some of the people that you've interviewed before?
And so the biggest one where we have interviewed is JJ Redick, NBA league veteran. We had the chance to talk to him for 10 or 15 minutes. It was a great interview. He's a really nice guy. If you want to elaborate a little bit, Grayson.
Yeah, so I can elaborate on that. JJ's from the same area we are, and so that's kind of how we got hooked on the whole interviewing thing. Is we just committed. We thought we were going to go big, and we got lucky, and we're able to interview him, and it's been great doing these interviews. He definitely taught us a lot because he runs his own podcast, and it was great to get that big interview with him.
Are there any other big people that you've interviewed in the past?
Not yet, but we're planning to target many different coaches and NBA players in the future.
What are some of your favorite memories that you've had since y'all started?
I think on being able to, a lot of people can say that they've interviewed an NBA player. I mean, it's a big honor just to be able to talk to someone like that, and I think it was really fun to come up.
Yeah. So on the business side, it's definitely just having that opportunity to interview an NBA player. But I think another aspect that it is very enjoyable for me is that that basically every day I just have a reason to meet up with my friends, and we just get to do something that isn't school related, and it's something different, and it's a great way, and we've made memories throughout recording this, just the small things.
That's cool that y'all share the small moments. What are some of your future plans for Between the Zone?
For me right now, I think it's just getting more interviews and expanding our what we have going on right now through websites and social media as such.
Yeah. So like Will was saying, we're hoping to really expand on the podcasting level and also the social media level, because that's everything nowadays. Everything is online. So we'd love to be able to grow our Instagram pages and just reach more people and show them that like you can start as a kid and you can decide what you want to do as your career, and you can just follow it from as early on as you want.
What advice would you give local and even up and coming sports podcasts?
Well, the biggest thing I'd say is just persistence. Trying to pursue that interviewee and just trying to get in contact with more people, and just planting the seed and just making sure that a lot of people get exposure.
Yeah. I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is just be confident in yourself. Like nobody expects perfect, and so believe in what you're doing and sell yourself. Like don't take no. And if you get a no, just keep going. So talk to as many people as you can. Accept every single answer you get and just keep working, because you should believe in yourself if it's really what you want to do. And it is for us, and I know we've definitely committed.
Have y'all dealt with compliance officers or even like managers whenever y'all try to get interviews?
Yeah, we dealt like with a few, but I mean, we're looking forward to dealing with more in the future. There's not really much to say on that fact.
Yeah.
Where can
It's
my
good.
listeners find y'all's podcast at on social media?
All right. Well, we have an Instagram page, a website, and a YouTube. We mainly do through YouTube. We're looking to branch out to Spotify and Apple Music and Apple Podcasts. But yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah. So as Will was saying, to find us on Instagram, it's going to be at Between the Zones, and the same thing for YouTube. And you should be able to recognize our logo. It's just going to have different sports balls, and it'll have a microphone. And yeah, we post on there multiple times a week. And YouTube will probably be the best place for your listeners to find us.
Thank you again for your interview and best of luck with your sports podcast Between the Zones.
Thank you so much for having us. This is a great time.
You're welcome. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview and best of luck with your sports business Between the Zones.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.